It's that time, baby. Dun 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 dun. I think that's how it goes. I don't know, man. But I do know it's time for the National Football League to start the 2010-2011 season. And we're in 2010. That is a trip. But it's time for the football season. You know Icecold's Corner here to give you those official Icecold predictions for this upcoming season. Alright, we're going to start. We're going to get right into it right now. We don't have time to mess around with anything. And we're going to start on the AFC. Starting with the AFC East. Now, when we start the AFC East, let's pretend. Can we just do this to make things a lot easier? Can we pretend for just a little bit that the Buffalo Bills don't exist? Got it. They don't exist. Okay. AFC East, really, it's one of the deepest, toughest, rugged divisions in all of the NFL. Miami Dolphins made some improvements, getting my man, what's my man's name? Brandon Marshall, to help that receiving core. I really would have liked if they would have kept Ted Ginn Jr., but I'm glad because he went to 49ers. He can be returning kicks and returning punch for us. But really, it's going to come down to a two-team race between the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. Now, I've got to keep it real. The New York Jets, something about them gets under my skin. I just don't really like them too much. Something about them gets under my skin. But those guys can play defense. I'll tell you that. They can defend the hell out of the ball. They got Revis in camp now, or excuse me, they got him on the team. He missed all the camp. They got him going now, and they're going to be as good as they think they are. I think they're going to be an elite team in the NFL. The thing that I worry about is them putting a bullseye on their back with all the talking they're doing on Hard Knocks in the newspapers, just all the yapping they got going on. They could put a little bit of a target on their back, but they're going to be good. But then you got my main man, Mr. Tom Brady, up in New England with Randy Moss now doing his thing. Maybe a little disgruntled, but he's going to be ready for the season when it starts. They paid Tom Brady. They gave the man his money. They paid him up, which they should have done in New England a couple of weeks ago, couple of months ago, if you ask me. But they gave him his money. So now he's happy, and in turn, he's going to make Randy Moss happy by just giving him the ball time and time again, and that offense is going to be clicking. I think the Patriots are on their way back up. A weird year last year, Brady coming off the knee injury for the first time. Took him a little while to get things going again, but I think they're back on the come up. And I think it's going to be them and the New York Jets fighting for that AFC East crown. At the end of the day, I'm not betting against Brady. And the one thing that has me worried about the New York Jets is I don't know what Sanchez looks like. They talked last year about Mark Sanchez being so great. Yeah, he was good. He was good for a rookie. He did some good things. But there was a couple of games where he absolutely stunk up the joint. The 5-interception game against the Buffalo Bills at home is one of the things that stands out to me. Man, he was a good game manager. For them to be an AFC East champion, to be an AFC division or conference champion, to be a possible Super Bowl champion, Sanchez is going to have to be more than just a game manager. He's going to have to make some plays for him. I'm not sold if he can make some plays. While I know Tom Brady can make some plays. So I got them winning the AFC East. In the AFC North, Ben Roethlisberger not being there really helps some things out as far as looking at this division. I don't think the Steelers are totally destitute after that situation, but I don't think that a division contender is really going to come down to two teams, Ravens, Bengals. The Bengals got Ocho Cinco some help he hasn't had since, rest in peace, Chris Henry got hurt and later on, passed away. And also, he may not even have that help since T.J. Houshmandzadeh was there. They got him T.O., and I think they can be extremely effective. Okay, T.O. can still play football. All right, he is still a top 15 wide receiver in the game, if you ask me. He's still a threat to score every time he touches the ball. Him and Chad Johnson together is going to be a dynamic duo. I think Carson Palmer is going to make it work. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But when it comes down to it, with the Baltimore Ravens getting Anquan Bolden and now getting the aforementioned T.J. Houshmandzadeh to go along with what Joey Flacco has to offer out there. And that defense, Ray Lewis is just a flat-out leader, one of the great leaders we've seen in the history of the game. Even with Ed Reed being out, he's going to have that Raven defense ready to play every week because he won't accept anything less. So even though the Bengals picked up T.O., I like what they're doing with Ocho Cinco and T.O. I've got the Ravens winning that division. Big things happening for the Ravens this year. I think this is the one last shot with Ray Lewis being an effective player to make something positive happen in the AFC. In the AFC South, could be a 3-team race, but I don't think so. You know, I don't think the Houston Texans are ready to make that jump into division championship contenders. I really think it comes down to two teams. And when you're talking about two teams in the AFC South, you're talking about the Indianapolis Colts and you're talking about the Tennessee Titans. I think the Tennessee Titans have an opportunity to be absolutely dynamic on the offensive end with Chris Johnson and Vince Young really coming into their own last year. And if they didn't start 0-6 last year, they would have been in the playoffs. If they would have started 2-4, they would have been in the playoffs last year, and people would have been absolutely terrified to play them. I don't think Chris Johnson is going to go crazy like he thinks he is. He thinks he's going to break the NFL rushing record this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but he is no doubt about it an absolute force in this National Football League. Vince Young starting to come into his own, starting to figure out things. It's starting to come around for him. I'm glad to see that. They're going to be contenders, but once again, I keep saying that. Count how many times I've said when it gets down to it. When it gets down to it, I ain't betting against Peyton Manning. Pierre Garçon is turning into the new Reggie Wayne, which was the old Marvin Harrison. They just keep bringing him in and out. Look out for Gonzalez. He should be back this year. I think he's going to help out that passing game a lot. Adai doing his thing. Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning. Until I see them lose a division, I'm not going to count them losing a division. Okay, I just don't see it happening. So I got the Colts winning that division. In the AFC West, a putrid division. The one thing I will say, and somebody come around and slap me silly after saying this, they're not going to win the division, but the Oakland Raiders are not going to be that bad. I can't believe that. I think they're unbelievable, unprecedented streak. I think it's 8 years in a row of 11 losses or more may come to an end this year. And I'm sad to hear that, actually. I'm really sad to hear that. But I think the San Diego Chargers, even with the loss of LT, gaining Ryan Matthews, Darren Sproles is going to be free to do whatever he needs to do out there. Even though they lost Vincent Jackson, I think they'll be all right. Antonio Gates is still top 5, top 3 tight end in the game. They got somebody for Philip Rivers to get the ball to. I think they'll take care of the AFC West pretty easily. There's not much to say about that. Not a very good division. Playoff teams, I got the Patriots, Jets, Ravens, Colts, Titans, and Chargers. One team out in this situation, the Cincinnati Bengals. As good as I think they might be, it really came down to them and the Titans being in the playoffs. And I just really think the Titans are destined for big things. I think that offense is going to be so explosive, it's going to be enough to carry them into the playoffs. AFC Championship game. I've got the Baltimore Ravens over the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Really can depend on what's going on with Mark Sanchez in New York if they get to the AFC Championship game or even have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. But I just really feel that the Ravens got one big run in them, and that's what they're going to do this year. That is the Icecold Corner AFC prediction show. Peep me right after this because I'm going to have them back-to-back for that NFC prediction show where I get my NFC predictions, NFC Championship game, and my final Super Bowl predictions. Check it out, baby.